Hey everyone, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be talking to the group here today. My name is Todd Saunders. I am the CEO at Broadlume, and thank you so much for inviting me to do an AMA. And excited to answer your guys' questions. So I know there were a few questions submitted beforehand. Also happy to answer any questions in real time if there are comments. It looks like the first question for me is, what can we expect from RLM in the next year? That's a really good question. Let me take a step back, right? At Broadlume, we do a few things, right? We build websites, CRM, flooring software is kind of our three main things. And underneath that, obviously, some digital marketing and product visualization. And we've acquired a few companies, right? We've acquired Rollmaster, we've acquired Creating Your Space, and we've acquired RLM, or Retail Lead Management, just as some background. So with this question, what can we expect from RLM in the next year? Well, there's a few things you can expect. We have about 4 or 5 engineers working on that team, along with a product manager. So we're investing pretty aggressively in that product. I would say what you can expect is kind of in 2 buckets. The first bucket is integration. We are working on integrating RLM more deeply into our other products. So very deeply into Rollmaster, very deeply into our website. And we're also working on integrating it deeply into partners. We know that a lot of people here use things like Measure Square. So we're excited to be working on an integration there. So that's kind of one bucket is integrations. And then the second bucket is feature requests. We have a lot of feature requests. We're really happy that we have a bunch of passionate users about RLM. That means it's working, and we are super appreciative of you guys for giving us that feedback. We've prioritized about 4 or 5 features so far this year. To be honest with you, most of them revolve around efficiency and improving our shop at home experience. We've gotten a lot of feedback that RLM is great, but isn't super great for people that want to kind of book appointments and do scheduling and shop at home. So we're really bolstering up the shop at home side of things at RLM, including with integration. So that's what's on the roadmap for right now. But if you guys do have ideas, things that you think could be better, things that you like, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available. So please feel free to reach out. But those are the core things that you can expect from RLM within the next year. What makes you qualified to rule the flooring business? Well, I'm not qualified, I would say, is my answer there. That's a really good question. I would say that 2 things. One, I don't think that I rule or we rule the flooring business. I believe that I am like the composer, and my job is to help our company and the industry and the retailers move in the right direction. But I can't do that myself. One person can't make that impact, but my job is to help shepherd everyone in unison and together. So I don't love the word rule. I like the word compose, right? I'm helping compose the flooring business into the future. In terms of what makes me qualified, I said it very honestly, like I'm not qualified. I would say my biggest qualification is passion and work hard, right? I believe that as long as you're willing to work your ass off and you're passionate about something, that you can get anything done. So for me personally, if those are the 2 things that allow me to be qualified, then I'm qualified. I'm extremely passionate about helping small businesses and helping the flooring industry go into the 21st century. I think we're very far behind as an industry when it comes to technology. And to be very frank, I believe that if we don't, as an independent retailer community, band together and push the industry forward, it's going to be a tough road for all of us over the next 3, 5, 10 years. And without you guys, we don't have a business. And I'm passionate about that. Listen, both of my parents are small business owners, and I understand what it's like to not have the right technology. And that's up to us to help, push that forward. And then again, when it comes to work ethic, our whole team, including myself, we just won't sleep until it gets done. And that's a commitment that we made from day one. And that's a commitment we'll continue to make moving forward. So I think those are my only qualifications. People think that working at Google gave me some sort of qualifications, but truly it didn't. I got very lucky to be at Google. But my 2 only qualifications, I guess to summarize it, my only 2 qualifications to compose the flooring industry would be passion and hard work. So I hope that answers your question. What's your favorite way to relax and recharge? So I guess outside of reading all the Facebook groups and floor covering news and floor covering weekly, is I don't think you want me to hear that answer when I say relax and recharge. I don't know. I love board games. I love just like mentally stimulating puzzles and games. I do that a lot of times with my friends and my wife. Huge sports fan. So I'm from New Jersey, currently live in New York. So you can find me rooting for any New York sports team. But I'm constantly learning, right? You can find me on YouTube watching videos on, how to improve certain skills. And it's a little crazy, but I find that relaxing, right? Like skills that I wouldn't necessarily use every single day. Like I haven't, brushed up on my SEO skills in a very long time. And a few days ago, I was watching a few hours of YouTube, and that was relaxing to me. And it wasn't necessarily flooring, but it did help me, with my overall knowledge. I'm learning bridge and chess are two other things that help me relax and recharge. But yeah, those are the type of things that I like to do outside of helping the flooring industry move forward. What is the next company Broadlume is going to acquire? That is a great question. I'll spin around and with you all and say, what company should we acquire? And I wish it was that easy. It's not that easy. Obviously, there's a few other softwares in our space that we'd love to partner with. This is how we look at it. Listen, acquiring companies is very difficult. You have to come to an agreement of acquiring a business, right? That's the first part, and that's the first hurdle. The second hurdle is then the integration, right? And that's not just integration of technology, that's integration of people, cultures, ways of working. So we're still integrating Rollmaster, and we're still integrating Creating Your Space, and it's been a lot of work behind the scenes. So I don't have a concrete answer with the next company that Broadlume is going to acquire, but you guys know all of the core software companies in our space. All of them are of interest to us, right? If you're a software company and you're working with flooring retailers and you have a good reputation and you're helping push the industry forward, we want to have a conversation with you. And we look at it less of us acquiring, and we look at it as more of how can we partner? How can we give you money and work with us to help push the industry forward together? That's really what we've been all about. So if you guys have anyone that you think we should, maybe reach out to them and say, hey, you should talk to the Broadlume folks. Your help would be very helpful in having those conversations. All right, next question. How many stores are in the Flooring Stores United program, and what's happening with that program? All right, so there are about 60 stores or so in the program. I don't know the exact number. It might be about 70. So let me give some background on this program. So about a year and a half ago, a few people flew to our office in Sarasota. Debbie Winter, I'm not sure if you're listening in on this, but you were one of them, and flew to our office and said, Todd, you've done a great job acquiring Broadlume, putting all these Floor Force, putting all these pieces together, and you've helped us create this amazing digital experience. But the experience doesn't stop on digital, right? The experience goes all the way to my showroom. How can you help us connect this whole experience together? And we've had conversations with people like Debbie and other people of like, how do we streamline this experience? So that's one thing that started this conversation. The next thing that started this conversation, honestly, is over the last few years, we've built a lot of features, right? We've got a large engineering team. We built a lot of features like sample ordering, right? Where you can go on your website and order a sample. Product visualization, where you can upload a photo, see that product in your room, on your website, in a screen inside your store. And a few, automated product catalog, right? That connects to manufacturer feeds and that drops products from your websites. We know that's a huge thing that people, I don't want to say complain about, but that give us feedback about, is that their catalog isn't always up to date. And the truth of that is we can only show the information that we get. However, we have built an API or an automated connection to manufacturers if they want to use it. The truth of it is a lot of the manufacturers are a little archaic when it comes to their product feeds, and they don't have many engineers on staff, but we do have that functionality. So we built out all this functionality that really none of the manufacturers could use. They couldn't use the sampling. They couldn't use the product visualization. They couldn't use the automated catalog. And then we heard from other retailers, like on top of that, you have these features that manufacturers currently can't really use. And on top of that, like, you guys built this amazing online consumer experience, but when a consumer walks in my showroom, it doesn't look so amazing. Like, how can you help us connect the journey? So when we sat down and thought about it, we said, okay, on any given month as a company, we help make about 80 private label brands a month. Think about that. On any given month, that means in a year, we're helping create about 1,000 private labels, right? So you guys submit a ticket, you say, hey, I got this product from this distributor, I want to private label it. How can Broadlume help me come up with a new name for it? We do 1,000 of those. When we looked at that, it was shocking. A, from a cost perspective, we spent a lot of time doing that, but B, most importantly, that is not simplification. That is the exact opposite that this industry has to go. It is not about creating 1,000 new brands a year and stuffing a showroom with all of this. It's about curation and customer experience. So we really looked deep inside ourselves and said, okay, the retailers are asking us to help build a better consumer experience that's connected, not just online, but also offline. We have all these features that a lot of these manufacturers can't use. And three, every other industry is going to curation and selection, not more and jam packing. Yet we're adding to that problem by creating 1,000 private label brands for our retailers every year. So that's how Flooring Choice United was born. We said, well, why don't we go to just any manufacturer and say, hey, we're going to come up with these selling system. Here are 4 private labels. Feel free to use them however you wish. And we'll help make sure it matches what's online with the retailers' websites. We'll help make sure it all has sampling and visualization, and we'll invest in, an amazing merchandising system. Who wants to participate? And we went to every manufacturer and said, please, like, this is what the industry needs. We're not a manufacturer. We're not a distributor. We're not a buying group. We're not product people, but we know a good consumer experience. And that's really what we believe Flooring Choice United is all about. And now that's just one way I think people use this selling system, right? There's obviously Omnify, and they use our selling system in a certain way. And, JJ Haynes, one of our partners, uses our selling system in a certain way. We look at ourselves as a platform, and we don't want our platform to just stop online. We want it to go all the way in store because, again, if you go to our mission, we're here to help independent flooring retailers make more money and sell more flooring. And if that means you guys need our help connecting the offline to the online, then that's what we'll do. So Flooring Choice United is just one way you can use our system. But again, there's tons of ways to use our platform, and we're excited to partner with more and more manufacturers inside and outside of Flooring Choice United to help you guys sell more flooring and help you guys make more money. That's really what it's all about. So what future integrations can FloorForce users look forward to? So I know right now we're working on a deeper integration with Measure Square. We're also fixing our integration with Q Floors. Now, obviously, some of that is a sensitive subject because, we're competitors in certain ways, but we all are, pushing the industry forward. And I think competition drives better product for all of us. But at the same time, there is a little bit of a weird area where we all have the same goals, but we're all trying to run a business. So in terms of integrations, listen, we are willing and open to integrate with any flooring software company out there. You guys know we already have some integrations. That's probably what you can expect in the short term. In the long term, we know there's other takeoff softwares and commercial bidding softwares and third-party lead aggregators like Houzz and Home Advisor that people use. Those are a little bit on the back burner in terms of integrations. Right now, it's very much focused on like the core software companies, but probably even more than that, like our own software companies. Like just until recently, and we actually just demoed this out a few days ago, but now you can get a lead from your FloorForce website automatically into RLM. You can then automatically sync it into Rollmaster so that you don't have to do it twice. And if that lead is already in Rollmaster, it'll actually find the lead, match it, and put it together. If it doesn't find the lead, it will create a new lead. That then Rollmaster syncs with Measure Square, pulls your measurements into from Measure Square into Rollmaster. Rollmaster then communicates back to RLM, and we just finished that whole integration. So if you do use all those products, you should see a huge, huge improvement from here on out. Where do I buy flooring? Well, funny enough, I've never owned a car and I've never owned a house. So currently I don't I have not bought any flooring, but I am currently looking for a house. I'm moving to New Jersey, my hometown in Westfield, New Jersey. Shout out to anyone if you have any idea where that is. About 45 minutes outside of New York. Um, so, like I said, currently I live in New York City. I've lived in the same apartment for the last few years. Don't need flooring, but I am looking for a house that specifically needs flooring. I feel like if I buy a house and it doesn't need flooring, I'm gonna want to rip it out anyway and put flooring in, so I could be like super proud of it and point to and be like, I know who put this flooring in. But my parents, coincidentally, maybe not so coincidentally, but live in the same building as me in New York City. And they have this super old, thin parquet flooring, which they love, but it's not holding up great and it can't be refinished anymore. So they want to put in new hardwood. So I helped them buy flooring from Herman, I don't know how to pronounce it, Herman, from Soda Floors here in New York City. If you haven't seen his work, he does some beautiful hardwood work. So that'll be my first aided flooring purchase. Yeah, I don't know. That's where I guess I buy my flooring. I haven't bought any other flooring yet, but when I do buy some flooring, I will let you know. I'll take some pictures. Do you have an assistant that helps you keep up with your texts and emails? How do you communicate so quickly? Funny enough, I don't have an assistant, and there's no automation to that. That is purely me every single time. We don't have an assistant here at the company. No one has an assistant. We don't have an assistant that books travel, schedules meetings. We believe that's our own responsibilities. Listen, just like you guys, you want to provide the best consumer experience to your customers, right? It's your job to respond quickly, answer the phone, answer podium, respond to the leads, and make your customers feel part of your community and almost like family. It's no different than what you guys do with your customers is what I feel like we have to do with our customers, and even more so to the industry. So that's how we approach it. That's truly all me. There's no automation. There's no bots. It's truly me and my cell phone getting alerts anytime my name is mentioned or one of our companies is mentioned. But I also find it as a learning experience. Listen, we're not perfect, right? Like we do as best we can as a business, but there's a lot of things we could do better. And these Facebook groups are an amazing way to get real, honest feedback. And I'm okay if not every comment about us is good, right? Like that. The truth is, if every comment was good, people would be lying, right? Like there's things that we could do better. So being in those groups and seeing things that we could do better is a really good kick in the butt, and it's eye-opening. And also it helps me and my team learn. I get on the phone with retailers all the time. My phone number is everywhere. And even if it's a 1-minute conversation, I learn something, right? I love learning. I'm deep in the learning phase of the flooring industry. I feel like I know it pretty well now, but there's still so much to learn. So I love getting on the phone and troubleshooting. And it always makes me happy. There's nothing better. And you guys, I'm sure, feel the same way. Of obviously, it's great when you have happy customers and everything goes well. But there's probably nothing better when you have an unhappy customer and you turn them into a happy customer, right? So I love being in there and helping problem solve and turn sad faces into smiley faces. So that's why I'm always so involved. That's how I communicate so quickly. I'm sure my wife would like me to spend more time watching Netflix with her, but I can also do that and respond on Facebook once in a while. So I guess that's my answer. All right, next question. With the rise of e-commerce, do you foresee independent dealers closing stores? Will the e-commerce segment grow? What can we expect? So my opinion is e-commerce is part of a growing demand of a better consumer experience. I think looking at e-commerce in a nutshell is wrong. I think looking at the consumer experience change is the way to look at it. As an independent flooring, retailer community, we don't compete against our neighbors. We don't compete against Home Depot. We compete against the user experience of Amazon, Uber, Zillow, all these things that all of our consumers use every day and are accustomed and expected when it comes to a consumer experience, right? We expect that with a click of a button, I can look at houses and I can even buy a house, right? I expect with a click of a button, I can order a car and it's going to pick me up and drive me somewhere. I expect in a click of a button, I could buy a stock. I can spend, $10,000 on stocks. But as a flooring industry, we haven't made it super easy, right? We need to do that same type of simplification. So whether that's e-commerce, whether that's order online, pick up in store, whether that's order a sample on your website and be able to visualize it, I would bucket all of those things together as like the rise of the consumer experience more so than the rise of e-commerce. But specifically about e-commerce, I think it's here to stay and it will get bigger and bigger. Hard surface makes it much easier to do e-commerce. However, a lot of retailers think that e-commerce is like you sit on the beach and you put some buttons on your website and you make a bunch of money. It's really hard, right? You need to have inventory. There's still a manual process of e-commerce, right? Like even the big e-commerce stores today, you order it, but then the company calls you and makes sure that if you need a lift gate, make sure they can ship to you, gets all of that stuff going. So I would call it more like aided e-commerce. We are actually very close to launching a full e-commerce solution. If you go on any, some of our sites, we have sampling available today. Ordering a sample is not that much different than ordering a pallet, right? From a technology perspective, the only difference is the logistics of the shipping. So we actually have a lot of the technology done. So if it's up to us, as e-commerce grows, it's not going to impact the closure of any independent flooring stores. I think it's just another revenue stream that independent flooring stores will be able to tap into more than anything. All right. Where did you learn how to grow a business and how did Broadlume snowball so quickly? Listen, I'm always learning. One of my biggest regrets personally is when I was at Google, I really didn't like it. It was a large company. I was a cog in the wheel. And the biggest thing I personally didn't like, and again, it's a great place to be. Like, don't get me wrong. It just wasn't for me personally, was that, you could work your butt off, but they have a schedule of when you get promoted and how it works, right? Like every 2 years, the top performers move from a level 3 to a level 4. And then every year and a half, they go level 4 to level 5. And I would always ask my manager, like, well, what if I work 2 times as hard, spend 2 times as many hours? Can I go from 2 to 4? And the answer was no. And that always got me frustrated. Like I love the unlimited opportunity of running, your own business. But my one regret from being at Google was what's so interesting is like, they're like, I don't know, 100,000 employees, something like that. And they operationally still scale and are still efficient. Like that's mind blowing. I'm sure you guys have seen as you go from 1 employee to 3 employees to 10 employees to 50 employees, even from 1 to 5 employees, the difference of how you need to scale your time and your energy and your efforts. That's something I wish I learned. I opened my eyes up to Google. They don't teach you that, but if you look around, there's a reason certain things are done a certain way, whether you appreciate it or not. So I wish I'd learned a little bit more about that at Google. I've learned everything at Broadlume through experience. I mean, that's just an honest truth. I didn't go to grad school. It's not like they teach you in undergrad what it's like to run a business. And very honestly, I'm not sure that anything can prepare you for running a business. I mean, you guys know, like, on any given day, anything crazy can happen and you have to be able to learn to deal with it. And I really believe business is about making your best educated decision, right? Number one. Number two, being willing to admit you're wrong and pivot, right? So if you made a wrong decision, that's okay. Move on and make the better decision next with more data. And 3, like use frameworks for your decision making, right? I told you guys during FloorCon my regret minimization framework, which is I don't want to have any regrets, which is why we've acquired all these companies and gone really aggressive after the flooring industry. Well, I have other frameworks, and I'm happy to talk about at a later date on how I think about decision making and some of the things we have to do internally. But everything that I've personally learned has been through experience, and I think that's the best way possible. I've made a ton of mistakes, but as long as you don't make those mistakes again, then it's a great learning opportunity. So even when the most stressful things happen in our business, like the worst things, like I could go through stories of crazy things happening, I take a step back and I say, this is stressful, but this is an amazing learning experience, something you couldn't get in a book or a blog. Let me understand what's happening, why it's happening. Then what decision are we going to make? And then I tend to, like 2 or 3 months later, look back and say, was that the right decision? And if it was, great. If it wasn't, I try to reflect on why that wasn't the right decision. And there you go. That's how I learned. So really learning by all those experiences and just soaking it all in is how we've been able to, I guess, snowball this quickly. Although I'd like to snowball faster. So. All right, next question. Who are your mentors and role models? Listen, it's going to be a little bit of a cheesy answer, but it's a truthful answer. I have a few different mentors and role models as it comes to different parts of my life, whether that's personal side, whether that's like my financial side and business side, whether that's my operational side. But I think I have it easier than a lot of the flooring retailers in this space. And as much as I may not talk to you guys as like, oh, you're my role model and how can you help me, do these things? I see the like day in and day out frustration and hard work that you guys have to do and some of the struggles. And that really motivates me to keep on pushing forward. So I would say you guys play a huge role in my passion and my get up every day. And although it's hard, like I know what you guys are dealing with and it's harder. Other role models and mentors in our life, like we have a really great board of investors that really helps us. But honestly, as a CEO and owner of a business, my job is to be the orchestrator, right? I try to work on the business, not in the business, right? And I really suggest that you guys think about it the same way. And what's great about my role, and similar to your role as an owner, if you are an owner, is you can surround yourself with people smarter and better than you, and they can help you become better, and they can be your mentors and role models. So when I look at my mentors and role models, I look at our executive team, right? I don't know if you guys know, I mean, you guys know John, you guys might know Dan and Sean and some other folks on our team, our leadership team, between Katie and other folks on our team. Like they, to me, are role models. Like I surround our team with people that are smarter than me, know more than me, are more experienced than me, and they make me look really good. And I appreciate that, but I learn a lot from them. And then listen, lastly, when it comes to mentors, I wouldn't be here without my parents. They mentored me since my whole life. So I got to give them a ton of credit there as well. So yeah, those are my mentors and role models. I'm also I read a ton of blogs and Twitter and all these different things. So there's probably a lot of people out there that don't realize that they're my role model, but they are. So shout out to all of them. What is your favorite red wine? That's a good question. Well, before I met John, I would basically drink anything that was red, and I thought they all tasted the same. I still kind of do, but don't tell him I said that. He drilled into me that if you're going to go to a nice restaurant, just ask for a Barolo from the Piedmont region, and everyone will look at you like you're great, or ask for a cab from Napa. So that's what he's taught me. He's one of my role models. And like I said, I surround myself with people smarter than me. So I'm going to go with cab from Napa or a Barolo from the Piedmont region. And learn that from my role model. What else? Is there anything else I can answer? Here we go. Would Broadlume ever consider a basic training program for new retail sales associates just joining this industry? Yeah. If that interests you, please reach out to me. I'd love to hear more about what you're thinking there. Now, there's a few ways you can take that, right? Like getting into the flooring industry, there's a lot to soak in, right? It's how do you there's some people that don't even come from sales. So there's like sales and negotiating training and just like person-to-person training, right? Those are kind of softer skills. And then there's harder skills of like specific flooring knowledge about wear layers and widths and installation methods. And then there's a third part of like, how do you operate within a flooring store? Those three things are definitely interesting to us in no particular order. We're definitely interested in putting together a training program. I would actually say that if you guys haven't signed up for Jason's boot camp, we could put together something and it'll be good, but nothing will be better than hearing from one of your peers that, in my opinion, does it the best. So again, our job is to be moderators for the industry and composers of the industry. So rather than us always being the one to create trainings, we believe that this program that we're doing with Jason, his boot camp at the end of the month, is going to be the best basic training you can go to, right? He's going to go step by step on every single thing he's done to run his business as an owner and as an RSA. So if you haven't signed up for that, I promise you, please, If you sign up for it and you don't think you got value out of it, I will personally refund your ticket. The ticket just covers the cost of food and drinks. I'm happy to refund it. We don't make money on it. Just cover our costs, but I am more than happy to refund it. I really would love for you all to sign up and be there and hear from him. But if you do have ideas on a specific RSA training, shoot me an email. I would love to chat with you about it. All right, let's see if there's anything else in the comments here. It looks like that might be it. If there's no other questions, again, I'm an open book. Happy to answer anything. If not, you guys know where to reach me. My email is todd.saunders@broadlume.com. You can feel free to email me or text me, call me. My number is 908-246-7574. Any way that I could be useful, please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to do whatever I can to help the industry move forward.